Since 1988, Astro Cooler Products has been leading the way with innovative solutions for thermal protection of temperature-sensitive products during transportation. In addition to the revolutionary Astro Cooler blanket introduced in 1988, our product line now includes the Astro Quilt, Astro Side Wrap, pallet covers, and container liners. This video details the process for loading the Astro Quilt from Astro Cooler Products. To begin, remove the Astro Quilt from any packaging and place on top of the first two pallets already loaded into the container. Your other option is to place the Astro Quilt on top of one of the first pallets you load and move it in with a forklift. Before unfolding, please make sure that the D-rings are facing towards you when you place the quilt on top of the pallet. Unfold the Astro Quilt over the two pallets, and then fold up the leading edge of the quilt against the wall. It is critical that you create a good seal separating the air mass on top of the quilt from the cargo underneath it. From this point, there are two methods for covering the rest of the pallets with the Astro Quilt. Method number one is called the rope pull option. This optional rope kit includes two ropes with clips attached. Attach each rope clip to the rings located on the edge of the quilt. Then, use common tape to secure the rope along the side of the walls of the container a few feet above the top of the pallets until you reach the back doors. If you prefer, you may install the ropes against the side walls of the container prior to loading the first two pallets. Once both ropes are taped all the way back to the exit of the container, continue loading the rest of the pallets into the container. Once fully loaded, simply begin pulling both ropes until the Astro Quilt reaches all the way back to the final pallets in the container. Detach rope clips from the rings and store the ropes in your facility for the next usage. Now simply fold the remaining portion of the Astro Quilt down to the floor, sealing the last two pallets of the container, and tuck in neatly to avoid air gaps. Method number two is called the manual option. With this method, simply unfold the quilt each time a new set of pallets is loaded into the container until the last pallets are loaded. Now simply fold the remaining portion of the Astro Quilt down to the floor, sealing the last two pallets of the container, and tuck in neatly to avoid air gaps. Regardless of which method you choose for pulling the Astro Quilt over the pallets to this point, it is important to verify that the side edges of the quilt make a good seal with the sides of the container. You are now ready to close the doors and send the load on its way. This video details the process of unloading and folding the Astro Quilt from Astro Cooler Products. Begin by pulling the Astro Quilt out of the container and place it foil side up on the floor as space permits. Begin folding on the end of the quilt that does not have D-rings. Since the Astro Quilt has memory in the material from the first time it was folded during manufacturing, you may now have one person fold up the quilt as shown, leaving a 3-foot section of material exposed at the leading edge. Continue folding the quilt at the creases in the material that occur at approximately 42-inch intervals. Once the quilt is completely folded into this position, fold the leading section over the rest of the quilt and tape it in place. You may now fold the Astro Quilt in half and place it on a pallet for shipment. You may fit as many as 10 Astro Quilts on one 48-inch by 48-inch pallet. In addition, this folding method prepares the quilt for easy installation on the next shipment. If your Astro Quilt is serialized, you will find the numbers located here for identification.